My girlfriend cheated on me with her best friend but claimed it was a drunk accident. Should we break up? So, some background. My girlfriend, Laura, and I have been dating for 5 years. We met sophomore year of college and it was an instant connection. We've been living together for the past 2 years and I've loved every single day. My girlfriend has a best friend, Michael. Now I didn't have a problem with Michael. I know guys can get insecure when their girlfriends are close to other guys, but I trust Laura and I honestly never even felt that I had to be cautious with Michael. Michael has always been a great guy. He never tried anything with my girlfriend, always was polite, and he said he considered my girlfriend to be his sister and vice versa. Hell, since we both studied the same major in college we got really close and he also became one of my closest friends. I've told him shit I've never told anyone else aside from my girlfriend. Now the problem. About a week and a half ago, Laura went over to Michael's place for their monthly watch party. They'd been trying to finish this show, I think it was Glee, for the past 6 months, and apparently that day they were finally going to finish. They had invited me over at the beginning of their watch through to join them, but I declined since I was busy at the time with work and also wasn't very interested in the show. Around the time I was prepping dinner, I got a text from Michael saying that they had been drinking and Laura passed out. I offered to go over to his place and pick her up, but he said not to worry, she could crash at his place for the night. I didn't think too much of it and left it at that. The next day I drove over to Michael's place to pick up Laura since she was too hungover to drive back. When I picked her up I noticed some weird tension going on between them, but didn't comment on it since Laura said she wanted to go home quickly and rest. She was quiet the entire drive, which was weird since usually she's really talkative. I asked her if everything was okay and she just mumbled something. When we got back home, she stopped me and said she needed to tell me something. We sat down and what she said next absolutely broke me. She said that before she passed out, she had blacked out and apparently slept with Michael. She apologized more times than I could count and said she didn't remember doing anything with him, that she didn't and still doesn't think of him as anything other than a friend and a brother, and that she couldn't believe herself for doing something like that. I honestly was in shock and didn't know what to say. She apologized a million more times and said that she understood if I wanted to break up anyway since she still broke my trust even if she was drunk. I told her I needed time to process everything since I didn't know what to do, and that we should probably take a break instead. She agreed and we also agreed for her to temporarily move in with a friend for the time being. Here's where I need help. It's been almost a week and a half and I still have no idea what to do. I love Laura so much. I still do, despite everything that's happened. It's crazy to me that a few weeks ago we'd been considering the idea of getting married and now she's betrayed me with one of my closest friends. She was so remorseful, though, that I highly doubt this was a planned thing and was more of a spur-of-the-moment drunk act, but regardless she did betray my trust. That or she's been a really good actress for the past few months and I've been fooled. I've tried talking to friends, but since all three of us share a lot of the same friends it's been hard to get unbiased advice. Do I forgive her for what seems to be a drunken mistake and try to work on our relationship? Or do we break up and I try to move on? Comment. I think you two should break up for good. If you two gets back together she might fall in the same routine of drinking with him and sleeping with him again since there is no downside to doing that. She has nothing to lose and learns that she can get away with it. If she truly does not remember anything about because she blacked out. Michael was also sober enough to think hey I should let her boyfriend know that she is so drunk she passed out but it's okay she's gonna spend the night here. If this is truly out of character for her and she's never given you reason not to trust her before, this has me concerned for Laura. I hope I'm wrong but it's really not sitting well with me. If it's out of character then forgive the drunken mistake. She should take steps to make sure it can't happen again. Never drink with him. Never drink with guys. Stop being his friend. BTW, Does she remember sleeping with him, or does she only know what he told her? If she did not consent or was blacked out and could not verbally articulate consent, she was raped. She needs to break all future content and consider the possibility of this venia criminal act. Next story 2. How can I, 20M, convince my ex-girlfriend, 19F, to stay in a relationship with me after having a mental breakdown and becoming detached from my emotions? I'm facing an intricate situation and would greatly appreciate your perspective. Around a year ago, I experienced a heart-wrenching loss when my ex-girlfriend, 18F, tragically passed away in an accident. Coping with her death has been an immensely difficult journey, and I've carried the weight of blaming myself for what happened. It has deeply impacted my mental well-being, making it challenging to move forward. Amidst this grieving process, I met someone who has been incredibly supportive, my now ex-girlfriend, whom I dated for 3 months. She understood the difficulty of moving on after such a loss and had been a source of comfort. Although things were going well initially, emotions surrounding my previous ex-girlfriend have resurfaced, especially as the anniversary of her passing approaches. I've also noticed that our emotional investment in the relationship seems unbalanced at times. Despite believing I was prepared to move forward when I entered this new relationship, the approaching anniversary triggered a wave of grief, guilt, and emotional instability. The situation turned for the worse when my ex-girlfriend grew irritated with what she interpreted as my excessive clinginess and possessiveness. She also expressed concerns about my inability to completely let go and effectively manage my mental health. My inconsistent medication routine and difficulty in moving on further fueled her frustration, ultimately leading her to break up with me. Complicating matters, I recently experienced a severe mental breakdown that put my life at risk. The intensity of my emotions led to behaviors that were deeply concerning, ultimately leading to my hospitalization. This incident became a pivotal point. She came to visit me in the hospital after my meltdown and accused me of manipulating her by putting my own life at risk to make her stay. The breakup has deeply affected me, leaving me in an emotionally detached and indifferent state. Engaging with the world around me has become a daunting task. Further contributing to the complexity, I had an unexpected encounter with my most recent ex. Her attempt at conversation was met with my distant and aloof demeanor, as I struggled to connect emotionally. In response, she publicly confronted me, casting doubt on if I ever loved her and the significance of our 3-month relationship. I understand her frustration, but I'm unsure if it's fair for her to end our relationship because of my ongoing mental struggles. Next story 3. My boyfriend goes home to his parents and I don't feel prioritized anymore. What do I do? Hi. So for a little bit of background, my boyfriend and I met on a dating app a little over a year ago and have been dating ever since. He has met all of my friends and I have met all of his, and he has even met my family and gone on trips with them. I haven't met his family yet and have only spoken to them over FaceTime. They live a state over, so I haven't gotten around to meeting them. My boyfriend is also Indian and I am white, so he wants to make sure we have a proper dinner to meet them. My boyfriend does visit them every month and sometimes multiple times a month to either see his niece or just help out around the house. Recently, his visits have increased and have extended to 2-week trips twice a month. At the beginning of August, his sister had her second child and is currently living in my boyfriend's parents' house with her 2 kids while her husband stays back in their house alone. This has put a lot of stress on my boyfriend's family as they are raising his toddler niece and now newborn niece. My boyfriend goes home to help and take care of the children. While he's visiting, we try to talk on the phone once a day, but this month it's been different. Whenever we plan to talk, he either has to watch one of the kids or is running errands. My boyfriend also lost his job recently, so he is trying to search for jobs as well while doing all of these things. It put quite a strain on our relationship as we wouldn't get to talk to each other without being interrupted. This got worse after about a week and I had an emergency and asked him to come home a day early to help support me. He told me that he had a family dinner and couldn't come home early. This made me more upset as I felt like he didn't care enough to come make sure I was okay. Fast forward to now, it's his second time there this month and he has been there for about a week and a half now. He has only been home with me for a total of 10 days this month and I'm starting to feel alone. We have had many discussions the past few days about what our future looks like when he is going to his parents' house this often, and he continues to say he is going to try to do better at prioritizing me and our relationship. He comes home this weekend for our anniversary and I asked him to leave early in the morning so we could spend my only day off from work together, and he said he is going to try his best. I don't know what to do or how to feel anymore. He told me last night that when he's here his parents call him and tell him everything they have to do and how tired they are with the kids, and that he feels like he needs to be there to help, but when he's there he can't prioritize our relationship and he worries about me. Whenever we talk on the phone, the stories he tells me makes me upset when he has to mediate fights between his sister and his mom and calm the house down.